Wow, I'm completely talking and I completely didn't unmute myself. But I'm gonna give it maybe about 1 or 2 more minutes before I start. Only 1 or 2 more minutes because everybody's time is so precious. And yeah, I just want to be mindful of that. So I'll be back about 10:03, 10:04. All right. Some of you guys are starting to come in, which is pretty awesome. I hope you guys had a good extra long weekend last weekend. I'm thankful for it because yeah, last weekend I was burned out. Okay, that's a thing. That is a thing. All right. So, and I say that you're probably thinking, well, what relevance does that have, Ms. Nesbitt? I don't really want to hear about it. I'm trying to lay down some strays because I'm trying to still be cute with some edges. But anyway, I just wanted to talk briefly about burnout, and I will tell this to any of my class members. So if you have me for multiple classes, you're going to hear this a couple of times, okay? If you aren't focused, or if you're feeling tired and you're just feeling like you have no energy, I just want you to be mindful of it. Sorry, I was reading an email, but just want you guys to be mindful of when you're tired. Like, not even joking. I know some of you guys have classes, and a lot of classes at that, because you guys are trying to graduate in May. But I want to emphasize that there's only one of you, right? There's only one of you, okay? doing all this extra stuff and then working really, really hard and all that other stuff is not going to matter when you're sick. Okay. So I'm thankful that I wasn't sick, but I was just really exhausted. So if you have me for multiple classes and you notice some delays in my emails, thank you for being patient with me. I just needed some days. So I'm human. I ain't no robot. So, but I just wanted to get in a few things. Some of you guys, well, we're moving on to learning module number 2. If you haven't had the opportunity to see what is in learning module number 2, just a preview of it is this the science part of physical education and exercise science. It is just an overview. Okay. It basically, I ask questions around the overview to make sure you have a good understanding, because some of us, some of you guys have not had motor learning. You haven't had exercise science yet. You haven't had sports injury yet. After this class, that's when you'll really start getting into those things. Or maybe, maybe you kind of got scheduled in the wrong direction and you have had those things. Either way, it just exposes you to the science of what exercise science and PE and sports medicine, athletic training, that type of thing, physical therapy really entail. So my best advice to you, do not wait to do that section. Okay. The due date for that section, same thing, is a month out. I believe it's March 21st. If you can complete it within the next couple of weeks, or if you can complete it within a time frame that is good for you and it's comfortable for you, I want you to do that. Okay. I don't want you to rush through learning module number 2. I really and sincerely want you to take it a day at a time, because there is some science involved. If you need to get at me, some of you guys are still not on the Remind app. If you need to reach me and ask me questions about something in learning module 2, now is the time to sign up for the Remind app to reach me so I can help you through learning module number 2. Like I said, that's the science part. It is not a game. Okay. But one of the things that I want you to be mindful of is that there might be a pop quiz today. Probably didn't want to hear that. I know. But there is a pop quiz that should be coming up. All right. Now, I like to give this. It is basically around chapter 4 in your textbook, which is under tools and Brightwave. Okay, for the book. Remember, a picture of what your book looks like is in the syllabus. Okay, so just be mindful of what chapter 4 is looking like. All right. So, but one thing I want you to be mindful of, I want to go over a few things as I'm looking at my notes, and then being mindful of the time. I don't want to waste y'all's time, because 20 minutes is where we're, bandwidth for like, okay, we're over this, right? So I got some good questions about, okay, Ms. Nesbitt, why am I doing a resume? I've had someone ask me, why am I doing a resume, which is fine. I'd rather you ask me that question and be upfront. What's the purpose of this? Resumes are important because that's kind of like your business card, right? It's your business card for when you graduate. So I recommend, and I will say this, if this is an extra credit opportunity, if you want to redo your resume, and you want to resubmit it to me and be like, Ms. Nesbitt, I really need some help with my resume. What do I need to be mindful of? Help me out. Then I am open to extra credit. All right. If you want that help so you can have a slamming resume so you can get a job. Because I don't know about y'all trying to get this bag, right? I know. Yeah. You're trying to get paid when you graduate. Yeah. So it feels good to be able to pay your own bills. So, like Tupac said, I like paying rent when the rent's due. Right. So that's the same ordeal. But it's important because that's just like your personal business card. And your cover letter, you change every time you apply to something different. All right. Shouldn't be using a standard coverall cover letter. It should change and adjust every time you apply for another job. So if you want some resume help, I'm here. Some of you guys, eventually I'll advise. So definitely reach out to me if you really need that resume help. Okay. If you do that, and tell some of your friends that are in this class that are missing this lecture that I'm offering that to you as extra credit. All right. So, just one thing to be mindful of with, your resume, you want it to stand out, right? So I can always help you with your resume standing out, because recruiters only spend 6 seconds on that thing. Okay. If it don't capture their eye in 6 seconds, they done with it. I used to do recruiting work for a particular department. And if their resume didn't catch my eye, I was done with it. But it takes about recruiters 6 seconds. So you want to build your resume where it just catches their eye almost immediately. All right. So let me know in the chat what's going on. Do you guys have any questions for me? You're good. How we feeling? Like I said, let me know in the chat if y'all are still alive. Yeah, just gotta make sure y'all alive. Y'all probably may have stepped away from you probably opened me up and just rolled out. Shame. Shame, shame, shame. But let me know in the chat how y'all doing, how y'all feeling, that type of deal. How y'all doing? No? It's all right. So, because I need to know if you can see this particular screen. Anybody? You let me know in the chat. Can you see it? All right, good. And yes, I got Brooklyn speaking to me. I gotta make sure y'all, the rest of y'all wait. Unless, or y'all put me on mute and turn the camera off so y'all can go do your thug thizzle or lay back down. I know how it is. Y'all can't trust me. Y'all can't finesse me. I already know. So yeah, let me know in the chat how you guys are doing, that type of thing. All right, so if you can see my screen, you should see Black History and the Trailblazers. Yes? All right. Okay. I just had to make sure, Lester. I had to check on you. Make sure you're good. All right. So, and another thing, for anybody that is a teacher, okay, or in the teacher education program, there's I think there might be some questions. If you need help with like your field hours or different things, just let me know. I always want to try to extend that opportunity to make sure you guys are good too. All right. So you read chapter 4, right? All right. So, in reading chapter 4, there are some really important, I don't want to say pieces that you must know, or and I don't want to say pieces that are just irrelevant. It's important. Okay. It's important because it talks about the history of how physical education came about. The changes in basically where it started in the Olympics and where it started and where the concept of being physically active came about, and how important it was to be physically active during the Civil War and the Second and First World War, and women and being flexible and practicing gymnastics and that type of thing. But oftentimes, and I'm really big on this, I really, really like to focus on, me identifying as a Black American, the importance of trailblazers in PE and in fitness. Those things are just so important to me. Not because, it's Black History Month, because I firmly believe Black History Month is 365 days, 366 on the leap year, okay? So, but I wanted to highlight this because as a student who's in this profession, I want you to be able to identify yourself in these trailblazers, okay? So important. Whether you want to go, whatever field you desire to go into, whether it be physical therapy or whether you want to be a coach or whether you want to be a business owner, it's so important for you to identify yourself in these individuals, all right? So you have people like Jackie Robinson, okay, who of course we all know broke the color barrier in 1947. He was inducted in the Baseball Hall of Fame. He was the first Black TV analyst for the Major League Baseball team. This is important. I know I have somebody in here who is, let me make sure, yes, who is interested in broadcasting, okay? Very important information to know, because I believe there's a couple of people in here that I've included that are in sports broadcasting, all right? So, but also he was a businessman and he started Freedom National Bank. Freedom National Bank is really big in DC. There's a couple of branches out there, last time I checked. But one of the things that he did is that he didn't relish in pain. He had a son who was impacted by drugs and who died as a result. So he turned the pain into a passion, and he was basically an anti-drug crusader up until the time of his death. All right. So then about Jesse Owens. Everybody knows about a little bit of Jesse Owens, most famous Black track athlete, okay? He performed in the Olympics where Adolf Hitler actually attended his game. Now, people have so much information about, Adolf Hitler hating Black people and him, basically walking up. I've heard someone say Jesse Owens walked up to Adolf Hitler and shook his hand. Huh? So, of course, this is like during the 1930s, okay, during the period of the Holocaust, okay, one of the, another piece in human history that was horrific, in addition to slavery, okay, but one thing to note is that they believe that he really wasn't invited to the Olympics, but there's different pieces of history that Hitler acknowledged that this is an amazing athlete. Whether he shook his hand or agreed with him or whatever, high-fived him, whatever the case may be, that's different pieces of information that you can research on your own. And I do encourage you to research on your own. Challenge me, educate me, okay? Email me and be like, Miss Nesbitt, did you know that this? I'm open to it. I'm a learner too, right? So, but of course, Jesse Owens did win gold. But the interesting part that people didn't realize is that Jesse Owens didn't get an invite from FDR. One of the best presidents in the United States. So we're told former presidents, because he's he's the only president that served multiple terms for multiple years. And as a result of him, a president can only do 2 sitting terms. Okay. So, but yeah, he basically he claimed that he didn't have time to, congratulate Jesse Owens or anything of that nature. So as a result, it made Jesse Owens want to, encourage Black people to go into voting for another political leader as a result of that. So these are things that you should just know about, just about anybody, just dig deep into their information and see where you can identify where they're coming from. Those things are very important. Okay. We got Jack Johnson, right? You've heard of Jack Johnson. Okay. First Black heavyweight champ. All right. So another thing that might be controversial and that we don't know about. So if you guys don't know, there was a period of time, well, we all know about Jim Crow laws, but there were multiple laws that were in place that prevented interracial marriages. Okay. One of them that was most recent was, I believe it's around, I can't remember the exact day, but we've seen the movie Loving, right? So the movie Loving is based on a law that prevented interracial marriage. And it was based on a couple who, you had the Black woman and the white man who married in Virginia. Okay. And as a result of them marrying and living in Virginia, a highly segregated state in the Jim Crow era, he was arrested. He was the man wasn't arrested. The woman was arrested because she was a Black woman, right? And so this is similar to Jack Johnson's case. There was a law in place, I believe it's the Mann Act, where, it was assumed that Jack Johnson was treating his wife like she was a prostitute. And, as a result, he was getting ready to be sentenced. Now, this act has been amended multiple times to specifically cater to prostitution or any type of illegal sexual act. But, he was charged with, basically this act. And, this was his wife who was basically running a club for him. Okay. Went overseas. He boxed. He only boxed against other white boxers because that's where the money came in. He did not box against Black boxers because nobody was paying. So those things are important for you to know. Okay. We got Fritz Pollard and Bobby Marshall. Okay. 2 of the first Black football players in the NFL. All right. Pollard found his own football team and Marshall went on and coached. Okay. So for those that want to be coaches that are that are athletes right now, is something to consider in terms of what your options are, what you could do as a former athlete. Okay, we got Charlie Sifford. He was the first Black man to participate in the PGA Tour. He was considered the Jackie Robinson of golf. There's a park, Stand Up, North Carolina. If you're from North Carolina, let me know. No, nobody's from North Carolina. It's all right. It's all right. I'll let y'all slide since y'all from Kentucky. Right. So got a park named after him. He tried to participate in another Open from an invitation from Joe Louis because it was bad for him in terms of some of the threats he was getting to participate, some of the negative comments he was getting to participate. So Yeah, things to just be mindful of. Unfortunately, some degree, sometimes we're still getting a little bit of that today. Okay, excuse me. We got Althea Gibson, first Black to win a Grand Slam title. All right, for the French Championship. All right, so graduated from an HBCU, Florida A&M, and started teaching physical education at Liberty. Okay, ladies, let me tell you something. Even as far back when I graduated undergrad in 2007, I was told ain't no sisters or ain't no women in no exercise science. They not doing this. So things to be mindful of, especially they try to say that slight you when you come from an HBCU. Yeah, right. All right. So moving right along. All right. You got Earl, Lloyd, Nathaniel, Clifton, and Chuck Cooper. Okay. First group that have played in the NBA. All right. So, and I'm not going to go into details about it. You got Earl Lloyd played for the CIAA as far as West Virginia State. One of them had an Alexandria City. In Alexandria City, Virginia, had their high school basketball court named after one of them. So, all right, you got Flojo. How many of us heard of Flojo? Let me see what y'all talking about on the chat and make sure y'all still alive. I got about 8 minutes, so I'm gonna fly through here. How many of y'all heard of Flojo? You've heard of Flojo. You've heard of Flojo. Yeah, let me know, because like I said, I'm watching, making sure y'all still awake. How many of us heard of Florence Griffith-Joyner? All right. Fastest one of all time. All right. She's still holding that record, apparently still holding that record posthumously. She has passed away in 1998. She served on the Council of Physical Fitness, basically as a presidential council that really sets the mandate, sets the bar, sets the standard for physical education or physical fitness for secondary schools. Of course, with her holding this title, of course, everybody tested her, that autopsy reports were ran on her to test to see if she had steroids in her system. No, she was just naturally good. Naturally good. All right. Let me know how we're doing. Like I said, I'm watching you on your chat. All right. We've heard of Wilma Rudolph. Same thing. Famous travel athlete. She was really big on basically philanthropy. She established many nonprofits as far as working towards the development for Black children, especially in the area of physical education and wellness and fitness. Got Arthur Ashe. We heard about Arthur Ashe, our first Black tennis player. Play from the play in the Wimbledon, U.S. Open and Australia Open. He was champion for the American Heart Association because he had a heart attack and he came from a family heart disease. And he also established the Arthur Ashe Foundation to raise awareness about HIV, which he contracted through a blood transfusion during surgery. All right, we've heard of how many of us Louisville people I got up in here? I'm waiting because I know some of y'all done muted me and step away. I'm waiting. How many Louisville-ers I got up in here? All right, so let me know in the chat if you're from Louisville, because you know about, oh, I got somebody. Thank you, Lester. Thank you. Let me know y'all live. All right. So you already know about Muhammad Ali. All right. So born right here in the bluegrass, he refused to enlist in the army. Okay. This man tossed his medals in the river. He was not feeling it. Okay, not feeling it. All right. So I will say this. I came here, moved here from the DC area, right? And, learn about Muhammad Ali. I see the people that are from specifically Louisville, or as I know I'm not saying it right because I'm not from here, but especially people from Louisville, y'all different. Y'all different. Okay. But it's not a bad different. Y'all good different. Y'all different. Okay. And I see why. I mean, like Muhammad Ali and reading about his story. Yeah, y'all different, but that's a good thing, right? But he was strong in his, okay. He refused, and he was a real big advocate on rights for Black Americans here in the United States. And as a result, he was not feeling it. He won't enlist in. He was willing to lose his title. He tossed his medal in the river. He was like, nope. So I firmly believe Louisville needs to name a lot of landmarks after him. I think, as far as I know, they're working on the airport. So I'll be real quick. All right. We've heard of our girl, my birthday twin, Simone Biles, the most decorated gymnast, American decorated gymnast, right? She's got the most gold medals. People want to say that she's probably the best gymnast of all time. I would believe that. She's the best gymnast of all time. And I've recently read that they're trying to sue her because they're saying a lot of gymnasts can't do what she do. And so now they're trying to sue. Look, let me tell you something. You can't hold this blackness down. That's what I want to say. You can't hold this blackness down. You just can't. It's silly. Just stop. All right. So sorry, everybody's looking for me. We've seen this, right? We've seen that picture. Let me back up. You seen that fist? Right? Tommie Smith and John Carlos, all right? They are the responsible ones who put up those fists during the Olympic Games. One won the gold, one won the bronze. So you got two brothers on each side putting that black fist up when the Star Spangled Banner was being played, right? Of course, so much criticism in it. Actually, Jesse Owens criticized them, basically saying, what good is a fist if there's nothing in it? Okay, so those are just things to be very mindful of. But, they went on to be coaches, they went on to write books, and they went on to be businessmen as well. Ernestine Shepherd, this is my role model. You know why she's my role model? She's as far as it was at that time, she was the oldest bodybuilder. When you get a chance, look her up, all right? She's still working out. I think she runs like 5 miles a day. She's 84. She runs like 5 miles a day, keeps a 1,700 calorie diet. She's teaching out in like the Baltimore area. She's a beast. I met her one time, briefly, kind of like caught the fan club, like the groupie wave. Hey, girl. Yeah, she's a beast. All right, be real quick. Dr. Rene Revis Shingles, she's currently a teacher at Central Michigan University, first Black woman to be inducted into the Athletic Trainers Hall of Fame. Last time I checked, only 8% of the athletic trainers in this association are Black. Okay, there's hundreds of athletic trainers, but only 8% of us are Black. Okay, things to just be very mindful of and to know. But she currently serves as a professor, program director, and internship coordinator at Central Michigan University. Okay, Bessie Blount Griffin, for those who want to go into PT. She was an innovator, a creator, an inventor, a nurse, a wife, a physical therapist. She was a little bit of everything, but she worked with amputees who were returning from war, basically training them how to restore basic functions, basic activities of living, one of them being eating. And she created some devices here in the States that help navigate amputees on how to eat. But of course, in the United States, they didn't want it. So she went overseas. She took her money overseas and they were able to patent those inventions for her. Okay, for those who want to go into nursing, okay, you have Mary Eliza Mahoney, first Black to work and study professionally as a trained nurse. And last but not least, how many of us know who this guy is? Tony Dungy. How many of us know who this guy is? Especially for those right now who are considering like broadcasting, coaching, and who are current athletes. First Black man to win the Super Bowl. Okay, and he's currently, he may not be anymore, but he's an analyst now. So, but yeah, I just wanted to give y'all a quick little Black history lesson. How are y'all feeling? Y'all got any questions for me? Like I said, I know how it is with Zoom. Y'all zoomed out. Y'all done paused it. It said, I'm good. Y'all done paused it, turned off the camera and just stepped away, or y'all doing something else. Oh, buddy, I know who you are too. So do we have any questions, comments, concerns about the information you learned today about chapter 4? Because there is a pop quiz, okay? You might want to tell some of your friends just in case they're in this class. Also, remind your friends that this lecture will be in Blackboard. Do I have any questions, comments, concerns before I wrap this up? Questions, comments, concerns. If you have, okay, I got Brooklyn. She let me know she awake. Let me see the rest of y'all awake. Let me know if y'all got any questions, comments, concerns. Lester, Chris. All right. All right. So like I said, I will post this in Blackboard, something that might be able to help you a little bit as far as your quiz is concerned. But other than that, I pray y'all have a restful rest of the week. Like I said, please don't delay in looking at Learning Module 2. Learning Module 2, that's a tongue twister. Please just be mindful, take your time looking through that. And if you got questions, let me know. I'm here for you. Peace.